properly on here. Rebecca is here. Let me get this right, and then we'll say hi, and then we'll do a recap. Hello, everybody. Hi, Toddy. Good to see you, Rebecca. How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Hey,
Uh,
Rebecca.
I'm
Hey.
doing okay.
Very sad day, Rebecca. I mean, I closed my eyes and wished Corey a happy birthday.
Yeah, me as well. And we're gonna, do the honor of doing an episode for his would be 11th birthday. And have you read the letter. How you feeling right now? You okay?
Yeah, actually, we got some good news today, if you can imagine that. So it was, although it's a bad day, we got some good news. We have people listening and who are actually going to help with Corey's law. Senators finally, not finally,
Yeah.
a senator reached out to me yesterday by phone and then followed up with an email with an appointment May 21st. And Bree
Awesome.
also got a
Yeah.
response from an assemblyman that she had reached out to. So we're getting there. We're it's going to happen. So it was like a birthday present for Corey, kind of getting
Yes,
that
it is.
email today. So it was that made me feel a lot better.
Well, that makes me feel a lot better. I can see Toddy
Yeah.
got a smile on her face.
Oh yeah, I'm a gloat. I mean, I know that it seems like it's been a long time, but this has not been a long time in the time that it takes for things like this to happen. This is good time, to
Right.
be
They
honest
don't
with
happen
you.
overnight. I'm learning.
Exactly. And
So
it's only been August since Chris was sentenced. So it is awesome to get this done within the year, to have people to talk to and appointments to be made. Kudos to you and Brianna. Excellent,
thank you.
excellent work. Excellent work.
Especially
By the
since that,
way,
yeah,
Jay,
great
I'm
update.
sorry. I wanted to let you know, I think I'm streaming on my channel
You
as
are.
well.
You
Okay.
are.
All right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I was just telling my mods to drop a link for Toddy One. You guys, if you guys can drop a link for Toddy in chat for my people, and then if you guys can drop a link for me for Toddy's people, we are dual streaming, so I'll give away some memberships later on. And thank you, Toddy. Thank you, Rebecca. I mean, that really is great news for me. Last time we talked, I felt like we weren't making much progress. And I say we, I'm literally just here for you. I haven't done anything really. I just want to be there for you. But when I say we as a whole, making progress. So I mean, it's a bittersweet thing to be happy about something like that. It
Yeah,
feels that way, right? It feels very bittersweet. Um
definitely.
so I mean, I'm so happy about that because I did kind of feel the last time that we were just like treading on water with nothing, So
Yep.
hey, progress is good. That's
It'll
the thing to
happen.
do. Yeah, that's the thing to do. And we all should be working on laws for many various things. We need to. I've been seeing a lot of people just on YouTube in general, and there's a lot of bullying and doxing and putting people's information. And I'm like, wow, how is that possible? I know Toddy's gone through some of that, right? I definitely
Mhm.
have lately. Rebecca, you know what I'm talking about, the cyberbullying. And
Hmm.
man, that may be the next thing we have to tackle is that situation. So put our minds together. But right today we're talking about Corey, and that's good progress. I mean, I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah, I was very happy to get the email.
Now I have a like an 8-minute clip that I just want to play. It goes over what kind of happened, and so people that do rewatch it that might not know about the case, and to refresh those people. So if you guys could hang in for a bit and just hang with me, and then we'll do the letter and then anything else you want. And we could direct people to Bree's TikTok as well. I'd be happy to do that because I love seeing her. I keep seeing her, and I love seeing that she's getting those views. It
I
makes
think she might give up.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, we had she did a live last night we're just not getting the views. And she said, I think I'm going to just start doing this on like Facebook or something. I said, yeah, I think I might. I don't get the whole TikTok thing. So I
Yeah.
can't even direct you to her TikTok. I don't even know how I get there.
I know how I get there.
Sorry.
It's okay. I see them. I see the videos. I think I see the likes and the things, but it just takes a while. I was talking to myself for a long time at the beginning of this channel. Toddy, you too? Did you talk to yourself for a while? Like with like two
Yeah.
people?
Like, listen, I lucked out, man. I lucked out. I took somebody's thumbnail by accident. They got pissed off, made a big deal about it, and got me a couple subscribers, and then told me what to do. That's really it was a fluke of a thing, is what happened. And guys, for those guys that are watching on my channel, I want to be clear. We are talking about Brianna Michelot. Brianna Michelot, Brie, not any other Brie.
Right.
Brianna
We have Breeze over here too that we're not talking about. We're talking about Brianna Michelot or Brie.
Right.
Brie
right.
Michelot. So thank you for making that clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. We had Juror 13 and Sadie's mama for a long time just watching me talk. And then the Madeline Soto case dumped in my lap. And there you go. We're about to hit 24,000 subscribers in a little over a year.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're making progress here. It's more than just, here to stream and see myself talk. I just really like helping people. So, that being said, you guys, welcome everybody. We'll get some memberships to you guys today. Maybe we'll do a giveaway for all you dual streamers here. We love giving stuff away. So let's do that, and then we'll get into whatever you guys have. I just want everyone to know about this case that doesn't know. All right. And yeah, I've been seeing a lot of your stuff, Toddy. Good to you. I see you got quite of a following on different things going on. We have a little bit different, but we're doing the same thing at the end of the day.
The bottom line is we're trying to make a difference, the positive difference. That's where the commonality comes in, right? The commonality comes in that we're all trying to do that. Rebecca's making, and this isn't, this is true. I mean, Rebecca and I show up every Monday for people that are going through struggles in life. And, Rebecca was the one that inspired that for me. She says I inspired her, but it was vice versa for me. And I think that, we're getting even a little bit of a following there. It's taken time, but all we have to do is let the one person who needs us know that we're there. And Rebecca puts herself out there more than me. And that's the difference. So that absolutely so. And credit to Rebecca on that one.
That's awesome. Yeah, I see that. I see you guys talking. And I mean, even last time I felt myself like, wow, this is a great conversation with us ladies here. I felt like we're really good at talking with each other, letting the other one talk and just kind of vibing and going back and forth. So that's great. If you ever need me, you ever need another, I feel like it's just a bunch of old ladies talking over coffee. If you ever need another old lady, let me know. All right. I'm going to pull this up. We'll go over this part. It's sad. So trigger warning to anybody. It was called the treadmill dad, the treadmill. I don't even say red rum, or I put another word, but I used a 3 in it. All right, guys. So that's what this case was called initially. And it kind of morphed a bit. So I just want you guys to know what it's about, what we're talking about. And then we will get into the letter. You'll be ready for the letter after you see this. You'll be ready to hear it. All right, let's go.
Back to Court TV Live. Thanks for following along with us. We are following the Doomsday cult murder trial in Idaho, where Chad Daybell is on trial.
That is
in the morning.
Okay, that's
started up again in the courtroom. We are following jury selection in another trial.
There it is.
Yeah, up in the state of New Jersey, and this is a heartbreaking case. The defendant here is a 29-year-old man by the name of Christopher Greger, and he's charged with the murder of his then 6-year-old little boy named Corey. The boy died back in April of 2021 as a result of blunt force trauma to the chest and the abdomen. Investigators also revealed that the defendant had abused Corey in March of 2021 in an incident where the little boy was made to run on a treadmill by Greger, who repeatedly adjusted the speed which
And that's why I wanted to bring this clip, because I see somebody that says I know a little bit about this case. So I just want you guys to know about it and then move forward so we can help with this case. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Holly, Suzanne, for being a new member. All right.
caused him to fall off.
And this defendant is being held without bail. He maintains his innocence, pleaded not guilty in this case. As we wait for a jury to be selected in this case, let's look back at the background on how we got here. Here's Court TV anchor Julie Grant.
So, guys, this is my mommy.
Police say 6-year-old Corey Michelow died at the hands of his own father. Christopher Gregor is charged with first-degree murder. Gregor is accused of forcing Corey to run on a treadmill, calling him too fat as he increased the speed, causing Corey to fall repeatedly. Investigators say video from Gregor's apartment gym shows the incident. Later, he brought Corey to the hospital, where he died from blunt impact injuries.
We all know what happened. If it was an accident, everything would be different.
Court documents say Gregor later Googled, "Can your phone be tracked in airplane mode?" He also searched how long after an autopsy to file charges.
We don't have the full context. What was being searched, why it was being searched, it could be completely...
And again,
It's just not something...
trigger warning to anybody that needs it, you guys. There's Bree quite a while ago. So yeah, happy heavenly birthday to Corey. Let's get through this. I did let Rebecca know we were gonna play a recap clip, so because it is upsetting.
A parent does. You don't leave your son at the hospital while he's dying.
Investigators say he fled the state after Corey's death. Months later, he was charged with endangering the welfare of a child. On March 9th, 2022, he was arrested for murder and pleaded not guilty. Corey's mom, Bree Michelow, says she made many reports of physical abuse to New Jersey Child Protective Services after Gregor came into Corey's life in 2019.
DCP&P should have done their jobs and we wouldn't be here right now.
She says she has faith in the prosecutors to bring justice for her son.
It's just so hard knowing what we know. I can basically use my mind and I can picture, it's horrible, but I just, from the autopsy report and knowing how Chris is, and just, I can tell what happened that day. It's their jobs to prove it, and hopefully they can.
We do have a statement from Christopher Gregor's defense attorney, Mario Garlucci. The death of Corey Michelow is tragic, but not murder. Unfortunately, Corey died from natural causes, and Dr. Michael Bodden, one of the nation's most esteemed forensic pathologists, is not only prepared to testify to the cause of...
And Michael Bodden didn't do such a great job. If you guys didn't follow this, he really didn't. And Christopher Gregor ended up with 25 years, which with time served. So not the death penalty. And by far, yeah.
Death, but will also demonstrate how other experts have been influenced by factors other than science.
It goes on to say in the statement that it should be noted that Christopher did not even know he was the child's father until he was about 2 years old. At that time, the child lived a very poor existence and he was abused by his grandmother and others who were involved in his life.
He went on to say, I look forward to trying this case in a courtroom and not through social media posts and intimidation. It should be noted that the Michelows were arrested and convicted for attacking the Gregor family, as well as making threats against me and my family. This is who these people truly are, and it will become apparent that Rebecca Michelow is capable of raising a child, or a goldfish, for that matter.
So it's like we're going to see
very
two
aggressive
competing
defense
sides inside, for sure, inside of that courtroom.
Still with us, Franz Borghardt. Franz, at first blush, from what we know about the case, what we saw in Julie's piece, and then this very aggressive statement from the defense attorney, what are your thoughts?
There's nothing more genuine than a defense attorney saying, we're not going to try this case in social media or through intimidation, and then using the media to try the case outside of the courtroom, right? It's a hot mess, right? And look, what's most tragic about this case is this was preventable. I hope at some point the state addresses child services not stepping in, but that's an aside. If in fact he's guilty of these allegations, it's monstrous. And this was so unnecessary. This young man did not need to die, didn't need to be tortured by this defendant. So, you know, I guess I'm a little biased on this one as a father, but you know, I don't like it when I read, hey, we're not going to try this case in the court of public opinion while we try the case in the court of public opinion.
There is some separation, Franz, when it comes to the treadmill element of this case that prosecutors do have in how they've charged this case. That is a separate abuse claim, and it's at a separate time than when the child was taken to the hospital with those injuries and eventually died. But they're being tried at the same time, and the jury's going to hear about this treadmill incident. The defense is likely going to have a different version of what happened with this incident, but it's something that the jury is probably going to have a difficult time separating. Are you surprised that both are coming in at the same time?
So an isolated incident or allegation of abuse, an isolated instance of extremely bad parenting is one thing. But when you have a pattern, when you have two or more different incidents, all of a sudden it's easier for a jury to wrap their brain around this guy did it, right? This is why we fight tooth and nail to keep other crimes, other bad acts, evidence out of the courtroom when someone's accused of a crime, because it becomes easier to convict them. In this case, though, it's all a part of the same abuse, right? So all of a sudden, you know, can you really argue accident? Can you really argue that somebody else did it? I don't know that those defenses are going to work. And the problem is I think they're going to lock themselves into a defense, which is not their job. It's not their burden. But when you try to offensively defend someone, you lock yourself in, you back yourself into corners.
Yeah, but you have a child there, and it's sometimes that aggression you have to point. So the jury's going to be mad, and that technique is to divert that anger.
All right, and we now know Christopher Greger got 25 years, right around, and he's serving that now. He's got 21 something left. So, all right, thank you for sitting through that, getting through that, everybody, Toddy, Rebecca, and it's all yours, Rebecca, or Toddy, whoever wants to say something.
Well, I just want to say, Jay, you know, thank you for taking the time to always invite me to be a part of this, but also you do the work. To be honest, you just send me the link. So everybody needs to know that she really just sends me the link, and she's got all this stuff ready. So Jay, and that's because you have a dedication. You spoke earlier. It's not the quantity. It is the quality of work. It is the dedication of the cause that makes us move forward. So we'll do that with one subscriber. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
That's the thing that makes us move. So thank you for including me in this, and Rebecca as well. That was really hard to watch. I can't even imagine, you know, Rebecca, but again, thank you for including me. And that was a great job. Great job in encompassing the whole case and showing it to people. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Everybody on my channel loves you here, and Rebecca as well. So just thanks for, you know, coming back and trusting me to do this with you. And, you know, we're another month down. Thank you, Foxy, for gifting a membership. All right. Rebecca, do you want to?
Yeah, sorry. It's just.
It's okay.
Watch.
Take your time. Yeah, I know. That's why I was letting you know. I just really want people to remember what happened. A lot of times people are like, what happened, where, when? And so if I show it at the beginning, then more people can support and share.
And you know what else is important? And what's important is not only did the Michelot family have to go through what they went through, but there was something that was included in the little video that Jay put up. And it was about how public opinion had a lot. Now, I would say 80%, if I would guess, public opinion understood the strife, what this family was going through. But then there was a little bit of people that started pointing fingers and making accusations.
Yep.
And that doesn't help a situation, and that doesn't make you safe from the situation. and shame on you for speaking on a situation that you know absolutely nothing about because the system failed.
Right.
That's what made
So-
me want to jump in, is seeing them point fingers at Bree. That is actually what got my attention. And I'm like, something's wrong. So I started looking into it, and I was like, I need to change that narrative and let people know that's not right. There's got to be more to this. And then I started talking to Rebecca and Bree, and I'm like, okay, there it is. There's the thing. Right. Which to me, it was, he was underage, didn't tell Rebecca, and he took what he wanted. It wasn't, she
That's
didn't
right.
consent, and then she got pregnant. So, yeah, thank you. That's what got me, was wanting to dig in and find out what happened.
Right.
I know in the recap, I walked away, I think, at this point, but I don't know who was talking, and it said that Bree and I were arrested for harassing the Gregors. We weren't arrested. Let me just clear that up for anybody
Thank
who
you.
might not know this. We were chased through 3 towns by the Gregors after we threw the dead fish on their front doorstep.
Sorry, I
There
had to
were
laugh.
cops from 2 towns, and they did pull us over, but nobody was ever arrested. We did appear in court because they filed a complaint for saying that we vandalized their house or whatever, but we were not arrested. I don't have an arrest record. Brianna doesn't have an arrest record. We were never arrested, but we did vandalize their house. If throwing a dead fish on your front lawn is considered vandalism, I'm not sure the
It's funny though. Yeah.
definition. It had meaning behind it, but I guess they were all too ignorant to know what it meant.
Yeah, you wanted to. That's what you tried to explain that, and then you lost your train of thought. Can you explain what was the meaning behind that?
Well, I'm not Italian, but from my understanding from the Italian people that I know, it means something when you throw a dead fish on someone's doorstep or something about sleeping with the fishes, which, I mean, I guess you'd have to be a fish to be able to sleep underwater. So, I mean, I don't know exactly what that means, but that's
it's a curse is what,
and then the chicken feet and the ham hocks were just extra.
it's a curse, Sin says. That sounds about right. A curse.
Yeah. So that was that, and but yeah, we were never arrested. I always feel like I need to clear that up because
and it's good. Thank you for doing that. Every time we do something like that, it's always, we want to get the feedback, and got to remember, people aren't as dedicated. They're not on here every day. Like, well, I am. And so they don't remember all these cases, and they want to know who, what, when, where, why, obviously. So yeah, it made me laugh anyway. All right.
But, anyway, so
Jamie said it was beautifully petty. I would agree with that sentiment. Beautifully petty.
Yeah, it was just we were. It was
angry. Yeah.
Also, I believe it in court at the trial. It was made to believe that everyone thought that we had done that prior to Corey's death. And that's not the case. It happened after Corey's death and after we weren't getting answers and being ignored. And we were angry. We're still angry. I mean,
right.
I think if they still lived here now, it might be worse. I don't know. But, that's when that happened. It wasn't, it just didn't happen the way they said it did. But
yeah, nothing did though. That was the thing about it, and that's why it's good for you to speak out, and for Bree, because nothing really happened the way they said. The media turned it around, and so did the family.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
People were looking at her like a money hungry mother that was like, I'm gonna get money from this rich boy, whatever, and not like that at all. So
anyway,
yeah, make Christopher rot as long as he can in there, right?
I hope that's what's happening.
But 20 years is a long time, though. I mean,
yeah,
to me it is.
Letter that I read to him, I'm hoping that, I know there's probably 1 or 2 sentences in this letter that are going to get to him. If nothing else does, I know this will, and he'll always be wondering in the back of his mind what's going on, when I say what I say, and I'll let you know when I'm there. But so I start out May 1st, 2014. Corey Travis Mitchell was born. I was there to cut his umbilical cord. When he was placed in my arms, I felt a love like no other. I whispered to him, telling him I was his grandma and I will love and protect him forever. We know that I wasn't able to keep my promise to protect him, but my love is stronger than ever. I will never have another Corey. He was one of a kind. We will celebrate him today because he deserves that. I hope that you have nightmares today and every single day until you take your last breath. I'm told I need to forgive you so I can begin to heal. I disagree. There is no healing from this, and your name and forgiveness are not words that go together. My grandson would be 11 today. I wonder what he would look like now, how tall he would be. You ended the life of a child, and yet you are still breathing. Life is so unfair. I was at the Rum Runner in Seabright recently, and would you believe I ran into Laura? I guess she came to her senses and dropped you. She was with another guy. Nothing special, but she seemed to really like him. Oh, you didn't know? Sorry. I assumed you two had parted ways. That was my dig at him. I hope he thinks about that while he's in there, not knowing what she's doing on the outside. Have you put me on your visitors list yet? You must be bored. I'd love to come. I'm not afraid. I visited Rahway several times. I'm quite intrigued by prison life. Do you ever wake up and forget where you are? Do you wish you could rewind and change things? I mean, I think about it. You could have just walked away and left Corey with Brianna where he was happy, healthy, and alive. I'm sure your highly decorated retired state trooper dad wishes he'd done the right thing. We are taught to respect authority, but with so many dirty cops, it's hard. I can tell you this, after dealing with law enforcement while you were abusing Corey, slashing my tires, and stalking us, if I ever found myself in a situation again, I would not call the police. So what are your plans when you get out? Get married, start a family, commit another crime? You will remember how to drive a car? I wonder if your parents will still be around. Will your sister allow you to be around her son? He will be an adult by the time you get out. I'm sure part of your parole will be no contact with children. It definitely should be. I have so many questions. I pray daily that somehow someone gets to you and gives you a taste of what Corey felt. I truly believe if you harm and kill a child, you should be taken out in the same way. We are working hard to make sure this doesn't happen to another child. Corey would be so proud. Hoping you have nightmares tonight on what would have been Corey's 11th birthday. Until next time, have a nice day. And
Another good one. Yeah.
But out of all of that, if he heard any of it, it will be the part about his girlfriend screwing around and, at the local bar by where they live together. Because that's going to eat him up more than anything.
Well, the saddest part, in my opinion, besides the loss of Corey, is that Chris is going to be in his early 50s, if not late 40s, when he gets out.
Right.
And he is still able to have a family. It's not like a woman. And I don't know, you brought something up about his parents, and they certainly aren't going to be the same, obviously, because life hits us harder as we get older. But the fact that it will be a blink of time in a year after he gets out. Like, look at Gypsy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
when was she there? Like, wow, that's him like a lifetime ago.
Right.
No criminal who commits a violent act and is convicted of that should be able to look back at a time in their prison life and say, oh, that was another time ago. That's just, what I mean? It's just so nonchalant. And in the meantime, there's people that aren't here because of those actions of those people.
Right. I feel like if you intentionally take a life, you shouldn't be able to come out of prison. You should never be able to be free again. I'm not saying, I don't know how to explain. Okay, say you get into a car accident and someone dies as a result. You didn't intentionally get into that car accident. So
Right.
maybe I can see that person serving some time, but that's different than intentionally taking a
Yeah.
life. And that of a child, no less, your own child. I don't see how we can, as a society, as a judge, as how do you let that person out? How can you let him walk out that door from that prison and feel
That
like
I agree
I
with.
don't get it?
But that's why we need to change laws. That's why we need a Corey's law, because that judge, I believe he did say that he was going to sentence him to the max that he could, and the stupid max was with all the, it's just in a paragraph somewhere. This, and this, and this is what you get. It's not made for a case by case or a hey,
No.
you took this
Well,
little
it was a
boy's life.
manslaughter case, right? It
Yeah.
wasn't. That was the thing.
Yep.
It wasn't,
Yep.
first degree. It
Yep.
wasn't. So that's the thing. And again, he's going to get out, and his best years won't have been behind him. You know what I mean? And that's incredibly sad, because he can get out and reproduce if he wanted to and procreate. You know what I'm saying? He could if he wanted to. And
Right.
here's the thing, the only thing that I his dad is a retired cop. Scream that from the rooftops, because that doesn't make him very safe in prison. The fact that he's in there for unaliving a child, let alone his own son, this is dirty paperwork. He can't be walking around feeling too good or safe, and he shouldn't be. He's
Right.
got two things that make people want to kick his ass, and he's got a smugness, as you see too. So
Yeah.
what did he do with that? That had to be put in check. Trust me, he's not gonna put it in check. That's gonna be put in check. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I don't see where he's gonna be benefiting anybody. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing. Who's going to want to be friends with him? His dad's a cop. You know what I'm saying? Or his dad's a retired cop. So who's going to trust him in the fact that his dad's a retired cop? So guilty there by association. And then a child crime. That's two things, that
Right.
make him a target in that prison. And you got to love that, because there's prison punishment. And sometimes we fail out here in the justice system to do that.
Right.
And, I don't have a problem with prison punishment. I don't have a problem with capital punishment.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
have
either.
as long as there is 100% proof. It can't be circumstantial. There has to be 1000% proof before you end somebody's life. We watched, and the idiot takes a picture
There it is.
of Corey. You know what I'm saying? And we watched the video, and you have documentation of Corey. If people look into the case, they could see the bruises on Corey. They could see how many times you and Brianna tried and tried and tried. And just
It
so
didn't, yeah,
it
it didn't do
failed.
anything.
The
It
system
did.
failed. It just failed. It's so incredibly sad.
I mean, even what they charged him with, people are asking, "What? How did he get that?" Well, that's what was charged. Now they didn't take a plea deal. The plea deal was the plea deal was actually right around the same. I think it was 28 years or something that they offered him for the
30.
plea deal. 30. Okay, they offered him 30 years, you guys. He turned it down. They charged him with aggravated manslaughter. He got 20 years for that and 5 years for endangering the child's welfare. Now, if you guys do want to go back and dig into it, I have a playlist on my channel called The Treadmill Red Rum, right? And you guys can go back and look at why and how and whatever, but that's what it was. That's what he didn't take the plea. He went to trial, gambled, and that's what he got. He got
And don't
less.
you think, yeah,
Yeah.
and wouldn't you think that, wouldn't you think that he would have been given a lot more time because the plea deal was
I
more
did.
than he was
That's
actually
what we
given?
thought, but
Absolutely, right? So
I totally thought that. I was confident that there's no way he's going to get less than the plea deal, and he did. He did, and that's just what it is. It's an injustice, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. We can't change that, but we can change Corey's law. And if you have an explanation about that, some people are asking in chat what Corey's law encompasses. Maybe you don't know exactly, but if you have something, that'd be cool.
I do.
Okay. All right, guys, hang in there. We're gonna, and you guys
bear
don't
with
forget.
me to figure this out.
Yeah, you guys, both channels, hit the like so we can get this out there in the YouTube universe.
So, I mean, this isn't set in stone. It needs some work. And so one of the things that we're asking, there should be mandatory immediate forensic exams in suspected abuse cases. See, with Corey, he was at the hospital, but the expert who did the child abuse exams was gone for the day. Probably, I don't know what the reason is. They don't have them on call 24/7. And that has to change because, like I say all the time, child abuse doesn't just happen Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
Right.
So we want to, hospitals, especially emergency rooms and pediatric units, should be required to have a certified child abuse pediatrician on call or available via telehealth 24/7. So when a child presents with suspicious injuries, an expert exam and report are completed immediately and not delayed until the next day. And number 2 would be an independent interview away from the suspected abuser. And that means if a police officer is called to do a welfare check, whether it be medical staff, DCPMP, whomever is interviewing the child, it needs to be done away from the person suspected of abusing that child.
Right. That's good. We talked about this last time, so I'm glad you have it written down now. And
right. Real-time cross-agency coordination system. There should be a digital real-time alert and tracking system that connects emergency rooms, pediatricians, DCPMP, CPS, police departments, schools, daycares. It should just be a universal. You know how, like, for instance, like
medication.
the pharmacies, pharmacies are. That's how this should be. It
should be connected everywhere. And just like when you go into the doctor with somebody and they say, you got to stand out here for a minute. And the doctor says, are you being abused at home or whatever? They should do that with children, not in the same presence of the abuser. So
right.
To explain that a little bit, you guys, we talked about this in depth last time. So that's good that you have it like that. But yeah, there should be a system like that. They're so worried about medication, worry about children and abuse and what's happening.
Yeah. And I mean, there's
if they had that same system like they do for medication where there's an alert on a child that red flags that something might be going on, and there's that kind of communication, that would be such a huge help, wouldn't it be?
Most definitely. I mean, we were, unfortunately, Corey's situation, it was failed by several people in that little bit of time, that little span of time, right. And that's unacceptable. We can't continue because it's going to happen again. And, that's our reason for trying to implement Corey's law. We don't want to see this happen to anybody. It's, it's just not how things should be. There's some other things, as far as, if say a DCPMP worker delays any, like for instance, Mark, the Ocean County DCPMP worker in charge of Corey's case, had video evidence of the treadmill, but never came forward with it. So there should be a penalty for that. If you have something.
He's a mandated reporter. He definitely should have.
Right. And, I sit and think about this. He had that in his possession. He was on the phone with Corey's pediatrician, the pediatrician at the emergency room, and Brianna the night before Corey passed, knowing he had this video and that Corey had now admitted it. Why did he not say, Corey is not to go back to Chris. Why?
Emergency. Yeah. We don't know
I
that.
don't understand that. It's just.
And he never had to answer for that, did he?
Not yet. I mean, I'm assuming during this lawsuit that he's going to have to answer those questions. I mean, they're doing depositions, I believe, in the real near future. I mean, we're all going to have to answer questions.
Right.
I'm assuming he's going to have to. I would assume that's going to be one question that they're going to ask him.
I mean, that's the biggest shocking piece of this whole case, and is the treadmill incident and how they saw it. And he still passed away after and had put back in Chris's care. So once that came out and it made it to the media, that's really what got this case going, was that piece of evidence that person had, and they never did anything with it. They kept it to themselves. So he should absolutely have to pay for that. Just like we do when we make mistakes in our job.
Right. And a lot of people think that the treadmill incident is what, took Corey's life. They don't understand that.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody, I think it attributed to it, obviously. But Chris did something to Corey that day after Bree dropped him off. And I have my ideas. I'm never going to hear it out of his mouth. And I wouldn't believe what he said anyway. But, we know he did something to Corey that day.
Right.
Because he was mad and he lost control of himself. And, he did whatever it is he did. And the end result is Corey's not here, but Chris still is. So.
Right. Right. And you have to live with it. You both have to, or the whole family has to live with it every day. And I know you carry that heavy feeling with you.
It does not get easier. When you're like, you played the introduction, I thought I can watch this. I know, what's coming.
Right.
You think it's the first time I saw it or heard about it. I can't control it. It's just, it just takes over. You cannot. I don't know. I don't think I'll ever be able to not be angry and sad and emotional. It just doesn't get any easier.
Right.
And, I don't know that it ever will. And
yeah, maybe it's just the healing steps. I mean, you're going through the motions and trying to make a difference. I mean, that's probably, that's the best that you can ask for. Anyone can ask for. You got those laws written down that you want implemented. You got the gist of it. You're putting a book together. You're writing to Christopher. You're doing this once a month. You're doing conversations with Toddy. I mean, I feel like you're doing the best you can, and you're turning that, pain or sadness or anger into something positive. So I wish everybody could do that.
I feel like by doing this, it's going to make it easier for me. And it doesn't, but it does make me very happy to know that we could save someone else from going through this. I don't wish that on anybody. Except
I think that, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I said, I don't wish this pain on anyone other than the Gregors. I wouldn't mind them having a little bit of this.
Right. Well, see, if Corey would have passed by accident, then you would just have grief.
Right.
But he didn't pass by accident.
No.
And you saw it kind of happen before your eyes.
Right.
So
They tried to stop it heavily.
right, exactly. However, and you and I spoke about this, Rebecca, there's always there's nothing that you could have done to save the situation, but human nature makes us go back and forth with that. So, and then it's because it was his dad. So there's so many layers to this, that the healing process is so filled with so many obstacles to even get to the healing process, that there's just so much shit before you even get there.
Right.
It's not just that it was an accident and you're grieving the loss of your grandson. It's everything that comes into play, and the snarky fucking remarks, pardon my language, that, people want to say too, And
Yeah.
so
I love those people who I would have taken him and ran away with them. Okay, and when you get caught and your ass is in jail and he goes back to the father and you're not out here to do anything, the end result would have been the same. Maybe a week later, 2 weeks later, but it would have been the same.
yeah, because people, that's the thing. People don't realize they need a support system when they leave and take off, because they need money, they need ID. They can't just cut themselves out of a family's life and walk away, because unless they're multimillionaires, they're gonna get in contact with
You're
these
then committing
families.
a crime. Then we can't
Right,
commit
but there's
crimes.
always, but you're
Yeah,
gonna
of
get
course.
caught anyway,
Right.
because there's always going to be that connection. So it's
Right.
not only that you're committing a crime, but unless you have multi, resources on your own, there's going to be that connection. So you're
Right.
going to get caught. So then you broke the law, you're going to get caught. Now you're going to sit there. The result, unfortunately, is going to be the same. And
Yep.
now you're going to sit there and blame yourself on top of it.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
People
But
say that. People say that out of not thinking. Obviously, they have to say it without really thinking, because the repercussions of something like that would be much worse than if you tried to do it the right way. It didn't work. You did your best. I know it still hurts, and now we can try to make the changes that weren't there at that time. But anybody that says that, I think they're just full of hot air, and they don't know what it is to really make a change or do something the proper way. You cannot do that. You can't.
No.
With the Madeline Soto case, people want to just blame everybody. And I know that a lot of people failed there, but you still, as much as I'm not a fan of Yolanda, Maddie's grandma, Jen's mom, she couldn't have just taken her away. And, she didn't even know. Maddie didn't say anything. Kids get groomed. They get, the CSAM stuff, and they don't speak up. And people, you got to do the right thing. So, yeah, whoever says that, they're just full of hot air.
Well, they want to believe that it can't happen to them and that they're safe in that. And that's
Right.
that's what people do, because it's easier to believe that than to believe, oh my God, this could actually happen to me.
Right. And, we did think about Brianna running away with Corey, but then, you kind of like are thinking, okay, how's this going to play out though? He'll never be able to go to school. They'll always be hiding, and then people are like, well, he'd still be alive. Maybe, yeah, if she didn't get caught and
Right.
go to jail, or, and we actually thought Brianna did run with him, because the night she had him in the emergency room, the night before Chris took his life, her phone died. But I didn't know this, and I hadn't heard from her for an extended period of time. So I thought she left, and then I panicked. I'm like, how am I going to help her? I don't know where she went. Is she going to call me? Is she going to be able to call me? They're going to find, I was panicked. And then the nurse brought her the phone from the hospital to call me, and I thought she'd left. I really thought she did run away with him. And that was going to be tough, because then I would never see them again. They'd always be on. It was, you couldn't win in this. There was no, we weren't winning this, unfortunately. The law was not on our side. It's just, that's why we have to change it. We can't have this happen again.
Exactly.
Right.
We can go over this 100 times. We have, and nothing was going to prevent this, because the law was not on our side.
Right.
And
we do have to follow laws. As much as we do not like them, we have to follow laws. We can't just be angry. And sometimes it's justified, and we'll do something that, hey, if you catch someone red-handed doing something to your child, who knows what's going to stop me? I'll say that. But that being said, I mean, we have to do the right things, and we're just as bad as the people that are committing those awful crimes. And it also affects the children. Even if Bree did that, it would put a big effect on Corey, not knowing what his real name was, potentially having to change that. You have to change identities, and it just doesn't work like that. So
no, it doesn't. Maybe in the movies or something, but it just wasn't. It wasn't going to be able to happen. We did think about it, but we thought it through and thought, we can't do this, But it's just, I just keep going back to the law was not on our side. It wasn't. And, we tried, we did everything that we possibly could except breaking the law. And,
Right. And now what you're doing is trying to get Corey's Law. And then a lot of people are asking how they can help. And you guys can help just by supporting, being here, listening, and supporting as things come out, as things need to be signed, as Rebecca's book comes out. By the way, do you have an idea? Do you have a targeted idea? Or are you?
I'm at the point where my whole run-on sentence is finished. I reached out to the prosecutor's office. I'd like to interview the two prosecutors that tried the case, the victim's advocate and the lead detective, and put something in the book. They're not sure if they're allowed to do an interview just yet, but I'm waiting for word back. There's some, I'm just getting pictures together that need to go in court documents. So I say I'm done, but as far as writing it, I am done. It's just getting all these other pieces in it where they belong and
Edit it. Yeah, you gotta edit it. Get a book
right.
cover.
Right. I know the cover already. I know the title.
Right.
It's just getting it all together. But I'll be glad to get it out. And I just hope it helps people understand what we did, and
August is the goal, Synth says. So thank you, Synth, for being there. Yeah, and that's okay if that's the goal and it doesn't come out till a few months later. You have something targeted. It's gonna, we're all gonna support you. We can put it. Synth does my website. She can throw it on my website, and we can put it wherever you want. We'll help to get it out there and spread the word. I know a lot of people can't wait.
Yeah, I just I think it'll be an eye opener to everything that they didn't hear during trial. Things that if people aren't watching, these things where Bray or I go online and talk about it, they're not going to know the whole story. A lot of people still don't. I mean,
exactly.
And the book is really going to be an eye opener. There's people that know us that probably don't know every detail.
Right.
It's a lot. It is a lot. And, it didn't make it into court. But I just hope a lot of people read it. And as it is now, because of the lawsuit pending that Brianna has against the state of New Jersey, I don't know that this is the end of the book. I think there's going to be a part 2 because we don't know how it ends with those people,
Right.
DCP&P, we don't know how that's going to end. And I think that's important. So I feel like almost there has to be a part 2. I don't know what you call it. I don't know, but it's almost, I think we're going to have to do that in order to give everyone the entire story. And, I can't say that part 2 won't be written, until Chris gets out, because I'm probably going to be dead by then. So I'm not going to be here to write part 2. So we can't put that ending in there, but hopefully, he's gone before me, so I can get it into part 2. I'm hopeful.
Well, we'll definitely talk about that, as the lawsuit progresses, and when you can talk about it too. Sometimes those things drag out, but as long as you're dedicated to it, then I'm sure it will happen.
Yeah, I sure hope it happens sooner than later, because I just, we were already failed. I feel like we didn't get justice, and if those people responsible, meaning the supposed caseworkers, whatever they were, if they're not punished somehow, and I'm not talking about money, I'm talking about losing their jobs and punished somehow, I'm going to be really upset. That's going to be another slap in the face, honestly, if they're not dealt with accordingly.
Right. Absolutely. I can't even believe that. Go ahead, Toddy.
I don't feel like you failed or that the Michelot family failed. The system failed you. You
Oh, yeah.
gotta put the blame on the right people. You
Oh
didn't
no,
fail.
I agree. It was like I said, it wasn't just one agency; it was several. And I know people say, well, you blame the police. Yeah, I kind of do. I know their hands are tied and they follow protocol, but one of them could have stood up to him and maybe made Chris realize, like, they don't care who my dad is. I can't hide behind that. If one person would have said to him, what is wrong with you? Leave these people alone. That's your son. Like, you got to do better. But nobody did. It was as soon as he started talking about the dad and the highly decorated bullshit, everybody backed down. And it was, some of the police, like in Jamesburg, they started giving the Gregors information about, not me personally, but somebody that I was involved with, that I don't think that they legally should have told the Gregors. I don't think they were allowed to do that, but it's the good old boy system,
Right.
one
Yeah, you
cop
can't
to
change
another.
that. Yeah, you're not going to change that.
That screwed things up for us. It gave them ammunition, of course.
Right.
And, it was horrible that the police were using someone that I was involved with and not looking at the full picture about this poor little kid that was being abused and scared to death of that man. They were overlooking all that.
Right.
And that's sad. And they know who they are. I hope somebody in Jamesburg watches this, because those police officers know who they are. And,
Well,
I hope they don't sleep well at night either, but they probably do, just not with their own wives. Oh, sorry. Did I say that?
yeah. Well, that's what you guys can help
Yes,
with. You
you
guys,
did.
yeah, you guys can share
Sorry.
this and let your community know about this particular case, because it is important. And there's a lot of things that one could get out of this case that you would think, okay, don't make that mistake, starting from when that happened to Bree and she was too scared to tell you, hey, Chris took advantage of me, that's why I was pregnant. Or telling them about the birth, signing the birth certificate, or telling them who the father, a lot
Right.
of things that I see that you could help prevent
I know.
from now forward. So,
And the saddest part is, again, yeah, okay, you got to do what you got to do. But the saddest part is, this is the system. The system is broken. And
Yep.
instead of the system being fixed, we're asked to tell untruths to get
Yep.
things done, because we can't follow the rules of the system, because look at what happens.
What
when we
happens.
do.
Right. You can't trust anyone. I mean, we were failed, like I said, by several agencies, not just one. And, unfortunately, when something happens to a young woman, like what happened to Bree, they're afraid to tell. They're judged.
Right.
They're treated unfairly. You have the, well, what if he comes after me with those threats? If I tell, he threatened to do this or that, what if he makes good on that?
Right.
They have that fear, and that keeps a lot of women from coming forward and telling what has happened to them. And it's unfortunate, that in today's world, we can't speak the truth because we have to fear how we're going to be judged or treated after.
But but it is important to let people know that, and let them know that they have the support of us and others, because
Right.
it's a nonstop thing. People are being judged for everything every day. And I mean, this is, a bigger situation here with Bree. She had a lot, being young, on her plate, and to be scared and then not know what to do, and then do it, try to do the right things, and look what happened anyway.
Right. And, a lot of people try, to say that I was greedy and wanted the Gregor family's money, or Bree was greedy. And, I've been 100% honest. It was not about, never did I think when I went into that county social service office asking for health insurance, were they going to go after the father? I didn't know that.
Right.
I had no idea. And so I gave them the name of the father.
Right.
And I said, we know he's the father. He's going to deny he's the father, but I didn't know what came after that. They don't tell you that. I just wanted the damn health insurance,
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so that was on me, Would I change it? No, I'd still probably apply for health insurance again, but I wouldn't say, if I knew what I know now, I wouldn't say who the father was. I'd say I have no clue. There were so many in and out of my house. I got no clue. Couldn't tell you.
Exactly. And that's the thing, that if one person could learn that from you, like, hey, it's better not to, or it's just going to be
Just throw
helpful.
my reputation out the window. We got to
I have
That's it. I'd say I don't even remember laying down with anybody. That's what I would say. I don't recall. I don't even know if I was there,
I'm
but
a Virgin Mary.
we
It
don't
just
know that. Like when you're going through, you're honest. I don't know.
Of course. And you don't want to appear like you don't know the dad, because I mean, what does that make you look like? You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, that's unfortunately, it's too bad that you have to lie and mess up your own your own reputation because of a broken system.
Yeah, and like I said, I just thought I was going to go in, I was going to fill out this little form, and they were going to let me know in 30 days if we were going to get the health insurance or not. That's what I thought was going to happen. It was such a project. I'll never forget it. But still, leaving there, never did I realize what was going to happen. I still, after filling out all the papers they wanted, jumping through all the hoops, I never thought they were going to do, what they did. And, so for people to say that we were money hungry, we weren't there asking for money. It was New Jersey Family Care health insurance. That's what we were looking for. And, that was the end result. That opened up a whole can of worms, and, here we are. But
And One Love says you have to tell who the dad is. You don't have to, and I'm sure New Jersey would like you to, but when you hear a tragic case like this, you literally can just say, I don't know.
Yeah, but they might not give you the insurance if you don't tell them who the dad is.
I mean, I don't know, like if they do like the Jerry Springer thing and ask you to name your top three and check all three, do a paternity test on your top three. I don't know how they do it. If you told them,
and she says they'll deny you without the knowledge of the father. So there you go.
See, I didn't even know that. I just never thought to be dishonest. We were just honest about it. So
there's one more thing against somebody that would.
Isn't that horrible? They back you into a corner. Well, your kid's not getting health insurance unless you tell us who the father is. So what do? You need the health insurance,
right?
But you don't want to. They should ask. And this is what I'm thinking. And I might put this in Corey's law. When you're applying for any benefits, they should ask if it's a domestic violence situation or a I don't want to say the wrong word.
I understand. Yep. Without consent, sex.
They really should. So this way you're not made to name that person.
Right.
I think I'm going to include that in.
Well, a lot of people don't know, and Jay had made mention to it. A lot of people don't know how Corey was conceived. The people, especially that are new to this case, they don't know how Corey was conceived. They just, and so, he wasn't conceived consensually, and Brianna was underage, and Chris is how many years older?
He was 21. She was 16.
Yeah, that's.
So
and unfortunately, she didn't say anything to her parents about who the dad was. Am I correct in that? I mean, she didn't
not
tell
right away.
Not
right away. And then, when she did, I had called authorities, and when it came time to going in and meeting with the detectives, Brianna backed out. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So
your name would get tarnished too in a small town, and him having the upper hand. I mean, I could understand why she was afraid. She didn't even tell you that it wasn't consensual either for a while. I remember her saying that.
She was just so afraid of him and his threats, about who he was and who his father was. And, You know, I think Chris got more power because when he first met Bree, our families were equals. We all lived in the same big houses, the big money coming in, so he didn't pull his weight or throw his weight around as much then because he wasn't sure, oh shit, they might be able to go toe to toe with us,
Right.
And so I think once he realized I was no longer with Vito, I didn't have the financial backing that I had when I was with Vito. He had the upper hand then, and he used it. He played that hand, and
Right.
it's unfortunate.
And they continued to do that through the trial. They absolutely continued to do that. They put out a false narrative, completely false narrative about you and Brianna. So
Yeah, they did. And Brianna was on trial at Chris's
I
murder.
know.
Brianna was on
That
trial.
bothered me.
And it's so funny. And that's part of Corey's law is the people, like if you are charged with what Chris was charged with, there's no way that your past criminal history, whether you were convicted or not, it should come to light. Brianna sure did. Her past was out on display. Why the person who's accused of doing this, why was his past not brought up? That's so unfair. It's just that has to change because I know the judge read the charges that were filed against him, and because he wasn't convicted of them, then the judge has to pretend he doesn't know that. I mean, that is so bizarre to me. And
the jury doesn't get to hear it.
The victim is made to look like trash in front of the jury and the public.
That's how it works. I mean, that's how most of the cases seem to work. It's like the defense has all the rights.
Can I interrupt real quick?
Absolutely.
Marcy, she was not a drug addict. I resent you saying it like that, okay? I'm sorry. I get pissed off. Okay,
Yeah,
check yourself, Marcy. I'm going to tell you right now. My daughter was not a strung out fucking junkie, okay? She's not somebody that was laying in the fucking gutter, all right? So get your shit together and watch your ass before you comment on something, okay? I resent that fucking word junkie, okay? Or drug addict. She was not a fucking drug addict, okay? So get your shit together and check yourself. Sorry.
It's okay. As a matter of fact, I remember hearing things about Bree, and that's what got me to the case because I was working on the Maddie case and somebody said something like that. I'm like, I need to figure this out. She actually wasn't at all. Chris gave her something in her drink or gave her a drink and then something in it. And she was just a regular, come to find out, just a regular teenager that had experimented. She wasn't an addict at all, just like experimenting when you're 16, 17, which I think most of us did do. So yeah, I hope Marcy didn't mean it that way, but
I
sorry
hope Marcy isn't Chris's Marcy because she was one of his hoes back during the trial. I hope it's not the same Marcy.
Sorry, Rebecca. I don't know.
This is where I have an issue. This week with Toddy, somebody used that term, did they not, Toddy? And it made me upset. I don't like to refer to people. I don't even like calling people that are in active addiction. I don't even like calling them drug addicts. I think it's wrong. I am guilty of doing that.
Well, it gives you a bad stigma. It's not, it gives you the stigma.
But when somebody says she was a drug addict, no, maybe you don't know the whole story, Marcy, but if you want to call me up,
well, she wasn't. I found out that she was just experimenting as a teenager with, she wasn't an addict of anything, and it wasn't that she got clean. She never
spent time in rehab or any of that everybody says.
It wasn't even close to that.
Happen.
Yeah.
And I resent when people say that. It just angers me. I'm sorry. I know I lost my.
Well, that was the narrative that was put out. I think that some people just don't know.
Yeah.
But that was the narrative that was put out by his defense.
By the defense.
To make, because in order to make him look better, they had to try to drag your family down.
Right. And Chris had a drug.
Didn't struggle the way, so she didn't struggle with any kind of drug addiction the way that it was made to believe. She experimented.
I'm very honest. She used drugs.
Right.
But
And
Brianna was not a drug addict. She was
No,
not
that's
a daily drug
right.
user.
no.
Right.
She was
And
experimenting
I
as a
refuse
young.
to call her a drug addict because Brianna is very far from being a
When
drug
I when I heard that, I was really surprised what she said versus what was happening, and I was like, okay, because a lot of people in the Maddie case were blaming her. I was reading the threads and the people that were coming in the chat, and they were talking shit about her, and I was like, this is not right. We need to get this out and let them know it's just a kid experimented with some stuff, and they put it out there like that.
Yeah. And it doesn't help, like I said, that in trial, you know, nobody objected when these things were being said about Brianna. And I was told that if I were to get on the stand, if they did allow me to testify and I denied Bree's drug use, that it would make us look bad, pretty much. And I didn't agree with that. I thought, why are we going to let people think that she was, you know, doing this and around Corey like this? And it wasn't the case, you know. I mean, and that's why when I read this, Marcy saying this, I blow up because it's like, okay, people, you haven't listened to anything that we've said,
I know.
you know, and it just
Right.
angers me. I'm sorry. I don't like it. You
Okay.
know, when
Right.
you know the truth and you're trying to get the truth out there and you still got somebody that's going to pipe up and say, well, she was a drug addict, so this is what happened. No, Marcy, that's not what happened. I'm sorry, honey, but you're wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, we've covered this for hours and hours and hours and hours and more hours. And that's
Well,
not.
in all fairness, I don't like, and I don't want to argue and I don't want to be disrespectful. I think that it was I don't think that person honestly meant that, because what the comment said was she
Yeah,
was
I
a
don't
drug
think so.
addict, that she was a drug addict that got herself clean. That's what I saw the whole comment to say. So I think
Yeah.
that she wasn't using drug addict in the stigma that it was taken in. I think that she was saying she could have just as easily, I believe, said she was a person addicted to drugs that got herself clean. I think that it's the same thing. I don't think that this person,
Yeah.
I
No,
mean, the
Marcy's
way I
been
read
here.
it, of course, it's not my daughter and it's not my defense. So,
Right.
but I read it as it just as well could have been that she was
Followed
addicted to
that
drugs and
narrative.
got herself clean. I don't think she was using the dirty drug addict term in that sentence.
We hope
I don't
not.
think so.
We
I don't
hope not. We hope
Right,
not. And
right.
yeah,
Well,
we gotta be
however it was
kind.
used, I guess
Yeah, it's okay.
if Marcy was a fan of mine, she probably is no longer. So
That's okay. Hey, that happens to me, Rebecca.
You're allowed to
Sometimes
get upset. There's
yeah.
allowed to
You
be
know-
misunderstandings. There's allowed to be them, as long as we could try to clarify them as well. But listen,
Yeah.
today's a very emotional day for you, and people are
Yes.
going to give you that grace. People are going
Right,
to give you that
absolutely.
grace. So,
And if they don't, then bye.
No, it's
Right?
just we have, you know, like I said, through the whole trial and leading up to it, we were silenced. We were called this, we were called that. I take offense to it. I can't help it. I wasn't allowed to speak up for Brianna during trial because I never got on the stand. So, you know, I just have an issue. You know,
And it's okay.
you know,
I understand.
if Marcy didn't mean it in that way, then I apologize for my explosion, but I do hope she understands why, you know, I was silenced for too long. I am ready to explode, and I can't help it.
That happens to me sometimes. That happens to all of us, right, Toddy?
Of course.
Sometimes we pick at the wrong person because they say the wrong thing right at that perfect time. So yeah, it's this emotional day. It
Listen,
happens
people, and not only that, but people know who we are. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like we should be allowed to have bad moments because our default is good.
Right.
Our default is good. So we're allowed to have some awkward bad moments and still be considered a decent human being. And I don't think, listen, Rebecca, I see how you read that and I understand because you've gotten some hate. You know what I'm saying?
Just recently,
So,
just a week ago, right?
So I understand 100%. I just, in all fairness, I just had to say that because I kind of read it differently. But of course,
and Toddy, I'm
Bree's
glad
not my
you read
daughter.
it. I'm
Bree's
glad
not-
you read it and kind of made me see it for maybe what it really was. And thank you for
And
that, because
Marcy's here.
I'm trying to follow the chat, but also here, and so
Yeah.
maybe I did take it wrong. And if I did, I'm sorry for that. But
Let's hope that that's the case, and nobody's being mean, because I do see Marcy here quite often, especially for the Madeline Soto things. So hopefully, just wrong thing at the wrong time.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
just a
hope I
misunderstanding. I
misunderstood.
think that's all it was a misunderstanding.
But last week there was not a misunderstanding, and someone was blasting Rebecca
Oh,
just for being
goodness.
you, just
Yeah,
for being you,
it's just
and doing.
there were comments that I don't deserve to be on there. It was crocodile tears. Where was I? Why didn't I do something? Oh, the hate. And you know what? It came from somebody who I thought was now a friend of mine. I had exchanged phone numbers with this person. I started to trust them, gave them my phone number, talked to them for hours on the phone about her life, my life. And this is what people do to you. It's so hard to want to open up and trust, because you never know. And
I'm right there with you, Rebecca. We're
that's
all
what
together.
happened. And, so I am a little on the,
Defensive.
yeah. And it's unfortunate. I don't like to be that way, but like I said, so much has been said and done, and it's like it has to stop. The truth has to get out there. And a lot of people say, well, why do you care what people think? Don't worry about it. I don't know. It just bothers me. It bothers me because Brianna is a mother, and she works every day, and she's raising her family, and it's just so unfair for someone to have this horrible opinion of her. I don't like it.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And that's okay. We all have that, and sometimes we do that. Toddy has her days, and I have, mine. You only take so much. So again, I apologize for that. She was in my chat. I think Marcy's a good person. Wrong comment at the wrong time. And yeah, we try not to call people drug addicts. It's never a good look. Even if they've done that in the past, it just doesn't feel good. So
Yeah, I'm trying to be more sensitive, or towards. I think I don't know how to say it anymore, because I don't want to call someone a drug addict because it sounds bad.
yeah,
I don't know if drug abuser sounds better. I haven't
I still
decided
don't
yet.
think. I don't think she was any of those things, though. She experimented with them at a young age. I don't feel. Yeah, from what I hear.
Maybe she doesn't have to be titled anything at all.
Yeah,
I mean,
Just
I
a kid
think,
a curious kid that experimented. There's people that just try things out, and that was it for them. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I don't know that there's a label except a curious.
no, and I feel like Bree owned up to everything. She was very honest. She didn't hide it on the stand,
I
and
agree.
she took whatever they were throwing at her. She didn't dispute it. She just, I guess, and I think that took courage for her to get up there and let her life, unravel in front of the world. And his didn't, but it was very one-sided. But, now when I can speak, I tend to maybe say too much, I guess, sometimes, but
Well, you're just trying to defend your daughter and your family. And
Yeah.
again, today is a totally emotional day. I mean, today.
it is. I
I
mean,
can't believe he was going to be 11.
I
That's
know.
like.
I think about it. My nephew's children, my great nephews, there's one a year younger than Corey and one a year older. Corey was between the two, and he used to play with them. And I still can't bring myself to be around them. Isn't that horrible?
My daughter's 10, and I looked at her today knowing that I was going to do this case for, the 11th heavenly birthday, and it made me feel upset, and then it made me feel happy that I have my daughter, but I felt upset for you. I feel upset even saying that right now, and I want to thank you, by the way, for donating to her Apex, her running thing. She was so happy when she got home
I like
today.
to do stuff for the kids.
Thank you.
I could just
She-
imagine Corey saying, Gma, look, I got this. I need
Yes.
to raise money. And that's what made me do it. Today being his birthday and
Yeah,
knowing how he would feel if he had some like a fundraiser, you know, and I
Oh,
let me do this, you know, like I'm gonna do
well,
it for Corey, you know, and
yeah,
that's
that
the way
makes my eyes water. I'm like, ugh, I don't want to be emotional. I don't like being emotional, but yes, thank you. She came
yeah,
home and just lit up. So
I was happy to do it. We like to try to do things in Corey's memory, and I thought, what better way than I know like how he would feel. So that's what made me want to do that. It came up at that time.
right, yeah.
It could have been anything, and that was it. So
Well, thank you. I look at my daughter. I'm like, man, Corey would have been that big, probably bigger because he's a boy, right?
yeah,
And
he was pretty big. So and being that Chris is a pretty broad-shouldered individual. I think
yeah,
Corey was destined to be bigger, taller, bigger
right,
maybe. But, like I said, with my great nephews, I feel so bad, but I can't go to their birthday parties. I haven't been to their birthday parties. I can't, I know that's sad and unfair, but gosh, I just keep thinking like Corey should be in the middle of those two, and
yeah,
it's just hard. And they knew him, and it's like, what if they said something to me while I was there about him? I don't know how I'd react, and I wouldn't want to get upset in front of them. And I don't know. It sucks. It just really, truly sucks to be still here and Corey's not, because you never know how to act again or how you're going to react to
right.
a situation. It's
Right.
tough.
Well, I pinned that comment from Marcy. She says, and she's here a lot in chat. She says, "I'm sorry, Rebecca. I hope you accept my apology. I didn't mean it that way. I'm on your side, and
Yeah,
I
well,
have been since trial." Yeah,
I'm sorry I reacted, Marcy, the way that I did. Please understand, and I'm sorry.
and thank you, Marcy, for coming back and saying that. Some people would just get off of here and then go like put my channel on blast and be
I
like, "I
know.
hate
I
them."
was afraid that was going to happen after the fact. I'm like, shit, what did I do now? Like, I
That's
ruined it.
okay. Well,
But
we appreciate you even more, Marcy, for saying that,
yes,
and
thank you.
yeah, we we don't want that. We don't want people angry on any side.
No. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to try to do better by not referring to people that have a substance abuse problem as drug addicts, because it is hurtful to loved ones. And I should know better than anybody, but yet every Monday, what am I there talking about drug addicts? So I'm guilty. And shame on me. I'm a hypocrite, but I'm going to do better.
We all are here to do better, I think.
Yeah.
I think we have this nice little group, and the rewatch crew can rewatch and say whatever they want, but we do want to try to be compassionate and understanding with each other and be adults, because adults can say, "Hey, I'm sorry," and not go put the channel and be like, "They're the worst people in the world,"
Right.
That's not an adult. And
You can
so
delete my episode there if you want, my little outburst, if you feel the need, but
no, we're not. We
We're all
do it
just
live.
human. Look at how it ended
Yeah.
up. Everybody's cool. Everybody's fine. Everybody's good. Things like this happen in real life. They happen online. And this is the way you work through it, right? Everybody's
yeah,
good.
and I'm not making excuses, but after what recently happened to me with those two, I don't know who's who. I don't know who's in this chat. How do we really know?
I feel the same way, Rebecca. This week I'm very like emotional, and I'm feeling exactly the way you are right now, because
right, you don't know.
somebody sent me this whole entire nasty thread, and I have to ignore it, but it's got all my personal stuff on there, and so I'm very like nervous right now, and I don't like that. I want to change that.
Unfortunately, I had gone on Reddit. I didn't know what Reddit
Oh
was.
no. Yeah, if
I
you
don't
see
know
me,
don't know how you are keeping your calm,
you have no idea.
but people should be ashamed of themselves. I mean, thank God that the people that have truly gotten to know you and see your work here don't buy
Yes.
into that stuff. But
Right.
my God, do people have nothing better to do?
I guess not, because they're gonna clip this and put it out there too. Everything we say is like the opposite,
I'm
you
sure.
know.
I'm sure.
I'm not smart enough to be a COO of mechanical engineering company, and I don't have a degree because I can't read and all kinds of other crazy stuff that was posted like 16 hours ago. I'm like, this is like an alternate universe. So
Well,
we
what
want to.
was most hurtful I felt when they spoke about your daughter, and I don't
You,
want to bring anything up, but
no,
that bothered me. That is off limits. I
I
feel
know,
you can have a beef with somebody, but leave the kids out of it. It's,
I know, I know. It
and,
sucks,
you
and
know,
I'm right there
that
with you.
wasn't okay.
That's what
But
we gotta kind of maybe work on behind the scenes is the cyberbullying thing. And I know there's a new form. It's the FBI or TBI cyberbullying. We really need to. I made a couple of reports there, and I put people's full names and information that I know is doing that.
right.
And we need to really like. I'd like you guys to also look into it. I'll send you the link, but I think some stuff needs to happen because this is not okay.
No, it's not. And like I said, I don't know what made me, I didn't even know what Reddit is. I had no clue.
I wish I didn't.
I wish I didn't now either because I thought, wow, I bet you they're talking about me somewhere on here if I could find it, because I know who was responsible for what, was on.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I'm going to stop looking now. And I got off of there and
Yes.
that was the end. And I thought, wow, it's just
Yeah.
nobody's safe. But
We'll stay over here on our side and
yeah,
let them seethe by themselves, right?
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Jay. So,
Yeah.
you know, um, so I get things from my subscribers and people that are looking out for me, watching my back, and so they show me things that I don't necessarily want to see. You know, what I mean, things, but
Yep.
and my thing is, unless there's something they listen, people could. I just was putting a video together before I jumped on, and it's it's an attack video on somebody that keeps just attacking my dead ex-wife. Like, how
What?
can you why are you still going after somebody dead who can't even defend themselves? But anyway, there's things that I don't care about. You can call me anything you want, I don't care. But the only thing I want to know about or be bothered about is when somebody's like breaking the law about me. You know what I mean? Like, I know there's somebody that's using my picture as their avatar. I don't like it. I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
I can't. But and so I don't really care about knowing about stuff like that. That's
Me
just
too.
aggravating. But
I've been
the
telling
stuff that
people
I want
don't.
to know about is the stuff that is criminal. I only want to know about the stuff that's criminal. And so let me just tell you, if you do need to make some sort of the first thing you can do is if you're being bullied, just so you know, or cyber bullied, the first
Oh
thing
yeah.
the first thing you need to do is actually make the complaint with your local authorities in your area, regardless of where those people are. Get that documented and then go
Okay.
ahead with that documentation. Do the FBI thing. There's also a CIA thing, and you're going to put the information. They'll give you like a pending case number, and you'll put that. So
Right.
because there's no excuse for this. There's no excuse. There's a difference between calling somebody an asshole and calling somebody a criminal and telling somebody you don't like them and then threatening somebody.
Oh yeah.
And some people need to be reminded of that.
Right.
So and
well,
I'm
you
here about
do.
reminding people. I mean, I got a video. I'm telling you, it's right behind this one. I'll finish it tonight. It's going out tomorrow. I start naming names too. I'm done
Yeah,
playing.
it's people I know, Toddy, that were friends with me that are just on the attack. And see, I face you guys every day. I come on here every day rain or shine, whether I feel good or not. And I come on and show my face and I show my everything. I'm on here, and these people are hiding behind these things.
Avatars and stuff.
Yeah,
Yes,
with these fake names and this fake
That's what I
stuff.
wanted to say. How do you report it if you don't even know their real names? You
Oh,
know,
because I found that you can find them. You can find their name, look that up, cross-reference it, and find the social medias. I found 2 of them. I know 2 people's full information, full name, and I'll keep going. I'll keep
Right.
going.
I'm just grateful that the attack on me seems to have been short-lived on their part. I think other people are still commenting and buying into it, but I think the 2 responsible have backed off. I think, you know, maybe after tonight, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
probably not.
I mean, you know, right now I feel like I'm safe. Nothing else new, unless people just aren't telling me that it's there, you know.
Well, here we're safe on this channel. See, I show my face, you show your face, Toddy. Nobody comes up when I'm in their face. They do it behind my back. So
Right.
I invite anybody. I'm here every time. You know my phone number, whatever you want. You know my address because you're posting that stuff on there. You know everything about me. Come to me, but they can't. They're afraid.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
where the problem
Thank you.
lies. Good egg, Toddy. Thank you for supporting Brianna and Rebecca.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kung Fu Panda. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, I see that happening to a lot of people. And Rebecca, I'm sorry that happened. I feel so bad because you're supposed to be safe over here with our people. And so,
yeah, here's the thing though, like
know.
I think the best thing to do about stuff like that is post those people, because it's a shame. It's shameful what they're doing. Like
Right.
I get comments, and a lot of times I get comments and it's like, you know, does this person even know what they wrote? So I'll post it. I'll pin it. I'll
Right.
pin it. And I don't have a problem. You don't have a problem with what you wrote. I'm going to make sure the world sees what you wrote.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe you'll think again before you write it, because I didn't write it. You know what I'm saying? So, why somebody would come after, and pardon me, but the grandmother of a dead boy.
Well,
yes,
I know why they were upset with me for not
engaging with them.
yeah, and
There's no excuse. That's rhetorical. There's no, you don't have to be friends with anybody. You don't
Right.
have to explain your time to anybody.
Yeah.
There is no reason to go after.
They should have attacked me, not you. Like if they were angry because you're talking to me, they should have attacked me, but
you
they
know what
can't.
it is? They wanted something they thought I could give them, which was a story.
Right.
And you know, it's not anybody's story except my own. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't my story. I wish it was somebody else's. But
Right. Yeah,
Right.
we
I
don't want
think
none
they
of us
were
would want that.
upset because I didn't give them control of this channel that I may or may not be starting, and the book and the story. I think
Right.
they needed Corey's story as a little step ladder to get themselves.
Right.
I think this was going to be their start. And then wherever it went after, then they wouldn't need me anymore, but they wanted to use it. And when I very politely was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm going to be steady if I do a channel, if I don't. If I
Right.
do, I'm going to do it myself because, you know, I may do it every other month. I might not do it, you know.
Right.
They said it nicely so they wouldn't feel that I was just saying no to them. But obviously it still upset them.
It's okay to say no to people, and that's why I'm in the predicament I'm in, is because I set my boundaries and I said no. And
Right.
it doesn't matter. Everything I say now is the opposite. If I'm wearing this blue shirt, they're gonna go and clip it and say, "Did you see that gay shirt she's wearing?" And then throw something else, throw out a picture.
You buy that at the special gay store?
Yeah,
The
yeah, I
same
do.
place I get my clothes?
At the gay store, yes.
Okay, all right.
There's
You
not
can't
even
buy any
rainbows.
there, Rebecca. You're not gay. You can't shop there.
You guys know nothing about me. You can't comment on my, no,
Maybe
okay.
there's.
If I want a gay shirt, I'm going to buy a gay shirt, just
Not
so
at the
you
gay
know.
shirt store.
Yeah, at the gay
You
shirt
gotta
store.
show your card at the gay shirt store.
Oh, you got to be a member. Is that
A
it?
membership card, of course. What's wrong with
Yeah.
you?
Like Costco or Sam's Club, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I'm
Toddy,
glad
at
we
least
can laugh.
Toddy could at least Toddy could feel my pain. You go on there and you got this thread, and the best attack someone's got is "you're gay" or "you're a dyke" or something. You're like, dude, that's a good compliment. Now, if I was like 14 or 13, I might be upset, but now I'm like, hey, I got my cape. We're good.
Right.
Crazy, but
But yeah. Anyway, happy birthday and heavenly birthday to Corey. I wish we obviously all wish he was here.
thank you.
Oh, and we're here to give you I'm here to give you a platform whenever you ask. So if you need
I
something or you
appreciate
want to
it.
get something out, here you go. If you don't, I'm still here.
No, I'm grateful for all the time that you and Toddy both give me. I'm very grateful.
Well, I appreciate you, Rebecca.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I love the conversations.
I just Monday mornings give me something to look forward to, like I told you. And these monthly letter readings, I live for this. It's therapy, and you guys are really helping me more than you probably realize, just so you know. So
Thank
I
you.
believe in both of you, if that even matters. You don't need my backing, but I just
It feels good. It
wonderful.
feels
It does.
good.
It means a lot to have a real person backing us up.
Feels
Well,
good.
I'm glad that we met. I wish it wasn't under the
Under these,
circumstances,
yeah, me
but
too.
I'm glad that
Right.
I know you both. I'm happy to say that I know both of you.
Me too.
Thank
Me too.
Right, back at you. And like I said, we're here for whatever. So just let me know, let Toddy know, let us both know. And I'll never get offended if you go to Toddy and you guys do something and forget, or I can't be on there. I don't
Yeah,
take offense
everybody,
at that.
everybody has a schedule, and I get that, so whoever will entertain me for the day, I'm there. I don't get upset if you're busy or Toddy's busy or whatever, I'm happy, like I said, to get whatever time you can give me, both of you.
Right.
So
Well, we're here. Anything that we can do. And let's try to make guilty of crime safe again with good people here. And Toddy, if I have a question about something, I'm going to reach out to you. I might
Yeah,
need your
please do. Please do. Yep,
because I
absolutely.
haven't had that problem until like right now, and it's pretty bad. So, but I'm gonna keep it behind the scenes as much as possible. Rebecca, the month is gonna go really fast again.
I
So
know it does. It really does. So, and
yeah,
I also write the letters at a different date each month. It's not always like the 1st or the 10th. So sometimes I feel like I think we did just talk 2
yeah.
weeks ago, wasn't it? But because it was Corey's birthday, I had to
Right.
get this letter to him,
Well, that's what I did too. I was like, just pushed everything off. I was like, let's just do it today. I mean,
Thank
nothing
you.
else is more important or active that needs to be.
Appreciate that.
No problem, no worries.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I almost feel like he might get back to me after I outed Laura. What do you guys think? He might
I
have
just-
questions.
I hope it makes it.
I just want you to get whatever you need from him to help you. Whatever that is that you need from him is what I want you to
I
get.
like
from
his
him.
organs, but I guess that's not a possibility.
Well, then I hope they're delivered on your doorstep in a different way.
They'll
than
throw him at my
this.
doorstep, and I'll take that to mean something, right? That
Yeah.
he's no longer here. That'd be great. I'd keep him in a jar right in my refrigerator. I would. I
Yeah, I
would.
mean, whatever's gonna get you through it too. I agree. Now, I gotta say something. Let me tell you just real quick. I don't want to. I mean, obviously, the Madeline Soto Stearns case is constantly on my mind, but right before this, and I'm gonna keep it as vague as possible because I don't want to out anybody. A person sent a letter to Stephen Stearns, and they messaged me, and they're like, "Hey, I sent him this letter, and it was real nasty. It was like your nasty times like 10." Now they didn't give it to him. They didn't give it to him, but they addressed it as Jen Soto Potato. They said it was from Jen. And so he knew about that. And you ask how I know? I'm only going to say this real quick. Stefan's mom texted me right before I started. Now she sent me the whole text message. He actually got a notification of the letter and who it was from, but they didn't give it to him because they didn't like the
Content.
tone, the content. And so your letter is very close to what she also said. And so they didn't give it, but he did know. And it was such a quick thing. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe, first of all, that his mom sent me, she knows that she has a safe space here, that she sent it to me. I'm not going to read it or anything. And that this person sent that. At the same time it clicked and Stefan's like, hey, I didn't get it, but now I know what context I think they might not be giving to him. I don't know.
But at least the guards are reading them.
Yeah, but if you
Whoever reads it,
if
I
you
don't
ever
know.
want to change the context a little where it's less snark, that it might get through to him.
Yeah,
Just
I don't feel like I'm so bad, but
No, I
I'm not
disagree.
threatened or anything.
No,
Oh, and then,
I
you know
don't.
what I
I
forgot
think
to do? I'm so not. My mind isn't here.
no. I
After
don't.
the first letter I just read to you, I sent a second one, and just real quick, and said, I'm starting to think that maybe you're not a writer. Here's my phone number. Call me collect, and I do have minutes on my phone. So I will take a call from you. So I did give him that, but I didn't read that to you guys. And I didn't send it because I didn't want my phone number to be posted in case you post my letters or whatever, because I don't want everybody calling me. But I
Right.
did give him that opportunity if he would like to call instead of write. Maybe he's, like I said, not a writer.
And maybe the letters are more for you to get it out. Like, I think that lady's just really upset with Stefan, and the thing she wrote was like, that wasn't getting through. Although they were like, hey, it says it's from, so Stefan now knows that we called Jen a potato. Like, it's gotten all the way to prison that we call her the evil potato. So now Stefan's calling her a potato and donkey gums. So, it's got me, I mean,
can I ask you something real quick about his parents or his mother?
Yeah, sure.
If you don't mind, being that she's on the other side of where I'm at.
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to ask you any of your personal conversations with her, but I just can't. What does she think? Does she?
Well, she doesn't
Listen,
have
I'm sorry. Let me just. I gotta go because there's a coworker that has a car problem, so I gotta leave earlier to go pick them up this week. But I'm gonna watch this because I'm interested in that answer too.
Yeah.
But I gotta go.
All right.
So I apologize for that. But Rebecca, I'll see you on Monday. Jay, reach out to me. Anything
Absolutely.
you say, it's between us. We're
Right,
good that
of course.
way. All right. And
Yes.
everybody else, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so
Toddy.
much. And take care. And tell Bree
see you
that
soon.
I wish her the best. Okay, please.
Thank you,
do that.
Toddy.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Toddy. So just quickly in a nutshell, I mean, I reached out to her originally because I didn't like the narrative that people were pushing, sending evil stuff, and I saw the hidden true crime video. So I reached out to her genuinely and asked her if I can, ask her some questions. And the way that we communicate, it's just like, I don't know, we kind of get along. Like, she sends me stuff that's funny, and she says she doesn't have anybody to talk to about the case. Everybody's either so angry about it and threatening her life or whatever. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff I can't say to anybody. And
I just wondered on that side, like,
I don't know how she takes it either. I try to tone it down, but there's only so much I can tone down when I'm like, hey, putting a stinky Stearns and these different things about.
But you can't help how you feel too, so it's hard,
Exactly.
But yeah.
But I'm not attacking. I learned. My mom's my best friend, and I learned to respect people and respect my mom and older people. I just learned respect. Period. And there's a respect you can have for different people in a different way.
No, I get it. I get.
And I guess she just feels like it's a safe space.
She has beautiful standard poodles. My goodness.
Oh my God, people attack her about that.
I mean, I thought those dogs, I always wanted a standard. I always had a toy or a mini.
I know, me too.
Standard poodle. They're beautiful, but that's my compliment to her. I won't compliment anything or say anything about her son, but because you can probably imagine how I feel about him.
We all do say that. I mean, it's openly, like I always say, pedophiles, get me in the firing squad. I'll go right for the junk, right? I'm gonna go right for where it hurts. I am not okay with any of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's got to be like, each person you kind of talk to, you got to think of it that way. You compartmentalize certain feelings about certain things, and you got to just respect people as individuals, I guess.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm learning this as I go too, Rebecca.
Right. No, I get it. All right. Well, I won't keep you any longer, but I just wanted to ask that about um, his mother, definitely. But
Yeah.
so
Well,
until next time, and I do watch your lives. I might not get there at exactly when they start or stay till the end, but I'm in there.
hey, the rewatch cruise.
Definitely. But
All
so
right.
until next time, thank you again for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. Now go do something for yourself, relax, have a good night, and we'll see you in like a month or so, right?
Great. Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye
Much
bye.
love. All right. We're going to drop Rebecca off. I'm going to talk to you guys for a moment. Hello, everybody. We still have 134 people in chat. Let's do a group hug, you guys. Yeah, you guys, if you're coming from Toddy's channel, do me a favor and subscribe to Guilty of Crime. If you are on Guilty of Crime channel, do me a favor and subscribe to Toddy One. All right. Big hugs to everybody. I knew that it would be a pretty emotional show because it is, well, should be Corey's 11th birthday. What's up, Sharon? Good to see you, my friend. I hope you're feeling better. Elizabeth, love from New Jersey. Who else? Sadie's mama, good to see you. I'm glad you got your shirt. Everybody else that's here, I hope you guys got something out of this today. Also, you guys do me a favor if you guys help support that community. Also, arrest Potato Soto and let's get the evil potato out there. Yeah, thank you, Michael, for that. You guys should go over and check out Justice for Corey page. I mean, let me pull it up real quick, and we'll end on that note while I pull it up. I really want you guys. Rebecca is back in chat now. She says good night. You guys, man, I love talking to you guys. Whenever we hold on, let me pull this off. Whenever we have guests here, I can't pay that as much attention and talk to you guys as I'd like, but now you got me for a minute. Look at the Justice for Corey page. There's a lot of beautiful. I can put that up there. It's a Facebook group. It's called Justice for Corey. I can give you the link. It's a private group. So that being said, I don't know if that will help you. Just go over to Facebook, type in Justice for Corey. That's the page. I dropped a link there, you guys. And there's 20.4 thousand members. And Rebecca's on there pretty active. You can see her here talking about happy 11th birthday. All right. Heavenly birthday to Corey. And, this Carrion lady. Beautiful picture of Corey. Lots of good information over there. And you know what else I like about that group, you guys? They're not just doing that group. Hey Mindy, you're still here. What's up, my friend? We got to get together soon. So that group doesn't just focus on Justice for Corey. They also look at other cases as well, especially ones in New Jersey and local. They're into sharing all that. And you know what, Lil Red? I don't blame you. I only go over there to keep up with what's happening with Justice for Maddie and Justice for Corey. But you guys, if you guys want to be more active, thank you, Synth, for that. Also, guiltyofcrime.com/Corey Michelo. But if you guys want to keep up with that stuff and see these beautiful pictures and see when Rebecca's book's coming out, I think the closest thing to give you those updates would be for you to go over to that site. All right. So, yeah, you guys gutter snipe, hit the like. Whoever else is leaving out of here, hit the like. We've been doing a lot of giveaways, so I guess we're not doing giveaways today. I was waiting for the ladies to let me know. Look at that. Look at that. Can you believe that little boy was going to be 11 today? Now, my daughter's 10, you guys, and he would have been a year older than my daughter. That's almost as tall as me. So may he rest in peace. It sucks that we're here for that, but it's so good to meet all of you. Indy said, I sent you a Venmo. Hope you received it. Thank you, Indy. I can't see what's going on right now, but I just want, I'll take a look. If do we have any giveaways today? If not, I want to just ask you to hit the like button and let's see. Hopefully I got that. Thank you, Indy. It says there's an error right now, but I'll let you know. Trigger. I'm not green, but I consider. And you are Vanessa Maldonado. You don't have to be green to be part of the Guilty of Crime family. You just have to subscribe and support the channel by being here. Okay. Yeah. Ashton says, come on, Foxy, a giveaway. No, Sharon, if you want me to give some memberships away, I can give some memberships away. If you want to send me a Venmo, let me know. All right, we are going to do a bobble. We're going to do a Foxy bobble. Tiff says, check your text. I am checking my text right now. Okay, so let's do a bobble, you guys. For members only, we're also going to give away, which I am jealous of. I want this blanket. Tiff is going to give away, this is my Guilty of Crime watching blanket. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's a blanket with Guilty of Crime, and let's do that. We'll do a bobble. We'll give away a Guilty of Crime blanket for those that are green. So you have to be a member for one thing, and the other thing you can just be here commenting, all right? So again, rest in peace and happy heavenly birthday. It's a little Corey Michelo sending love to you, Brianna Michelo and Rebecca and the family. Yeah, I know everyone's going to want a blanket. I want a blanket. I don't even have a Guilty of Crime blanket, but I am going to give a Foxy bobble, and then we're going to give out a blanket to somebody. You got to be a member, and you got to be in the United States to win a physical gift, but you can win a digital gift if you're not. We just don't have the money to send to out of the country right now. All right. We can't do that all the time, obviously. So let's get this in there. Let me put this up. You guys, good luck, everybody. We're going to do a bobble real quick. And then after the bobble, we're going to give away the blanket. Subscribe, comment. Yeah, chat is fast. I'm surprised chat is really fast because there's not a lot of people in here tonight, and it lessens. All right. So let's load those comments. And this is for the bobble. Next one's for the blanket. You gotta be a member. You gotta be in green to win the blanket. All right. Marcy, I'm in Florida, so local hint. Millie Rivera, good to see you, my friend. And Michelle, you've been commenting all night long. So Michelle DeMatteis, I'm not sure how to say Mateus. All right. You won a bobble, a Foxy bobble. And now we're going to give out a blanket. I don't know if that's a prison blanket or a blanket. All right. Anna, good to see you, my friend. Those tumblers are awesome. I got to admit, under the Mystic Moon, I use my tumblers every day. I have multiple tumblers and I switch them out because a tumbler is essentially an adult sippy cup, guys. A tumbler is an adult sippy cup. All right. So go over to guiltyofprizes@gmail.com to get your Foxy bobble. And then we're going to give away a blanket. And thank you, Tiff. Thank you, Tiff. Thank you guys all for being here, supporting the channel. And let's go. Let's cross your fingers, say a prayer, throw out good vibes, because I even want a blanket and I don't get to win a blanket. So let's go. All right, guys. There you go. You got to be in green. You got to be a member. All right. So the blanket will go to guiltyofcrime.merch@gmail.com. Goldilocks. I don't know if Goldilocks is Goldilocks is not a member. And I don't know if you're even in the United States, but we love you, Goldilocks. Anyway, we're going to do this again. Goldilocks is not in green, and you got to be a member, guys, for this one. All right. Sharon, did you give away some I know I'm getting an error too. I can give them away and you could just send it later if you want. It's not like you're not going to send it. Let me know, Sharon, if you want me to give some away, give some memberships away. I can do that. And then you can just Venmo whenever. No big deal. I gave 5 away earlier. So It'd be nice to give another. Do you want me to give some away before I do this? All right. And also, you guys can, if you want to purchase a blanket or a tumbler, you guys can do that. And you can go to guiltyofcrime.merch. All right. Let me hit that. We'll go ahead and do that then. And at the same time, after that, I'll give away some more memberships. Michelle, you won a Foxy Bobble. All right. Jennifer B. Jennifer B., are you a Guilty of Crime member? 111, say a prayer. Jennifer B., are you a member? Goldie is, I don't know if Goldie's in the U.S. and Goldie's not a member. Jennifer is not a member, you guys. You get another chance. This one is for the members only. All right. Now, Roxanne, unfortunately, we just give prizes away all week long. I don't know if that's unfortunate or not, but maybe we can start setting days. But right now, it's just like, let's give away prizes to everybody. All right. So we're going to do this again. Jennifer B. is not a member. So we're going to do it. I'm going to give out 5 memberships and then we're going to do it again. All right. So let me give 5 memberships. I gave 10 memberships this whole episode, so let's do the other 5. All right, you guys get your memberships, and then we'll do it again. All right, let's do it one more time after you guys got your memberships. All right, guys, cross your fingers that you win a Guilty of Crime blanket, and thank you to Sharon Belko for giving those 5 Guilty of Crime memberships away to give you another chance to win. All right, so here's for the blanket. We just like giving prizes away whenever we can, but we'll see what we can do about certain days. All right, thank you, Sharon. We appreciate you. We appreciate all of you for being here and supporting the channel. Is Elizabeth? I see Elizabeth very often here. Elizabeth, I see you a lot. I just never know who exactly is in green until I see them. So, Elizabeth, are you in the United States? And are you a member? She actually is a member, guys. So we got one thing down. Now, Elizabeth Toller, are you in the United States? Yes and yes. There is our girl, Elizabeth. Go get your blanket. guiltyofcrime.merch@gmail.com. You're in green, you're in the US, and now you get a blanket so you can watch Guilty of Crime with a blanket that says my Guilty of Crime watching blanket. All right, so congratulations everybody that got a membership. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. Thank you guys for being awesome. Thank you for showing love to our guests. Toddy is a guest. Rebecca is a beloved guest. We love her. We support her with everything she does, including when she's triggered and she lashes out. That's okay. We all do that. All right. We love you. Sadie's mama, I love you. I'm so glad you got that shirt. I'm so glad that that shirt fits. Lil Red, I only watch Maddie here with Jay. Thank you, Lil Red. I appreciate you. Sharon is the bomb. That's my Leo twin. You can't get much better than your twin. That's a Leo. We're unstoppable. We're unstoppable. Ali Callie, thank you. Yeah, Sharon and I, 2 Leos. You're done. Faith and Repentance says, I'm trying to learn my way around here. It'd be nice to have something like that and chat and discuss cases and chat further. Well, Faith and Repentance, you can email me at guiltyofcrimebyj@gmail.com. Venmo for 15. Thank you. I appreciate you. Please don't regulate giveaways that take the. I know that's the thing, Ashton Lee. That is the. It's not so fun. My life is very regulated all the time. I'm always like, gotta be here by this time. So regulating gifts feels like it takes the fun out of it, right? But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Good luck. Mindy, thank you for being here. We need to talk soon. Goldilocks, Indy Isham, thank you. I will check my Venmo. All right. Congratulations to everybody. And we'll see you tomorrow. Now, don't forget, tomorrow is a call-in day. You guys can call and we can talk about why Jen Soto might not have been arrested yet and how the case has been botched with the law enforcement. And we got some other good things going on tomorrow, but it is covering mostly Jen Soto, but Madeline Soto case. And you guys can call in tomorrow and talk about how you feel. So tomorrow, Crime Crew, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Sharon, guiltyofcrime.merch@gmail.com, and you can get a blanket. All right, guys, call in Fridays. I'll see you tomorrow. Love each and every one of you. Hit the like button on the way out. All right, bye. See you tomorrow.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty?